welcome in. I wanted to share with you one of my favorite soups of all time, especially when it's cold outside like it is. I like to make this minestrone soup, and today I'm going to add a little twist to it. I'm going to make it with I'm gonna actually grill up some chicken and add the grilled chicken, but for right now, I'm just gonna show you, I went ahead and prepped everything so you know what goes into the recipe, how I prepare it, and you can see the recipe in the show notes at the bottom. So just get out a big pan, go ahead and turn low to medium, add about a tablespoon of olive oil, get that started. And then I have all my spices mixed up already. So I really like this company called The Spice House. They're out of Chicago. They will flat pack your spices and mail them to you. They're excellent. They're like top-notch spices and they make your food taste so, so good. So I highly recommend. So this is thyme, oregano, some crushed red pepper flake. I'm actually gonna take out the bay leaf. I don't need that. So once the olive oil gets somewhat warm, I'm just gonna push it around in the pan here a little bit. Once it gets a little warm, you want to go ahead and add all your spices to your olive oil. This will actually release the aroma into your soup. It'll taste so much better. I got this pro tip from watching a cooking channel, and it does make a huge difference to just let the spices do their thing in the olive oil. Move it around a little bit. Just opens them up really good, really nice. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna let that sit for just a minute. I'll be right back. Welcome back. So those spices have been on for about a minute or two. I'm just gonna go ahead and add now. This is one diced onion. It was a rather large onion, but I do like a lot of onions, so we're gonna add that in there. Stir that around. We're gonna let that simmer for just a few minutes. Then we're gonna go ahead and add celery and carrots. This is about 4 large carrots just diced and probably about 6 stalks of celery. I prefer organic, so it is all organic, celery and organic carrots. I also prefer to peel my carrots. I only really like the Walmart brand of carrots. They're just so sweet and delicious. So I use those, peel them, and then obviously chop them. I like to chop everything. I find it very therapeutic. If you don't like it, I'm sure you can put it in a food processor or however you want. So we're just gonna let those onions and spices just simmer a little bit more in there. Oh, it's starting to smell so good. Once these carrots and celery go into this, oh, it just smells like soup in the house all day long. All right, and we go to put the celery and onions in there together. I'm just gonna push those around. Let that cook. Let that cook down for about 5 minutes, and then we'll be back. While that's cooking down, I'm gonna go ahead and prep the other things for the soup. So I prefer wild rice. Instead of, I can use orzo, I can use quinoa, but this week I've really been liking wild rice. So I have a rice cooker. This was a wonderful gift from my husband because we were cooking a lot of rice. At one point, my son was really into chicken and rice. So I prepped it. There's 2 cups of rice in here that have been rinsed and drained. And then with that 2 cups of rice, I'm going to add 4 cups of water. Even though it's wild rice, they say 1.5 cups for every cup, but I prefer it just a little bit more moist. So I add 2 cups, and then about 3/4 of a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. And we go through a lot of chicken bouillon at our house. So we go to the Hispanic grocery store in town and buy the very large chicken bouillon because it's so much cheaper there. So we get that. And then I'm just gonna put a little dash of olive oil into this. And then all I do is turn the rice cooker on once everything's in there. And because it's wild rice, I'm actually gonna select brown rice. So they do have a manual that tells you what kind of grain. This is a rice and cooker, so I'm gonna just go ahead and put brown rice. That's gonna take probably about 45 minutes, but the rice will turn out perfectly. And there's also a button where if I don't get back to the rice right away, it will keep it warm. So that's wonderful. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and create the minestrone inside of the minestrone. So once everything's cooked, we add this, which is just really simply a can of diced tomatoes or stewed tomatoes. Stewed tomatoes are best, but Aldi was out of stewed tomatoes for whatever reason, so I just went ahead and got the diced tomatoes with the oregano and basil. And then 1 can of kidney beans, and we're gonna blend that up in the blender, and we're gonna add that to the soup once it's all, just simmering together. It's so delicious. Okay, the veggies have cooked for about 5 minutes now, so we're gonna go ahead and add, I've got some fresh garlic. We're gonna add the garlic to the soup. Just let that soak in there a little bit. And now it's time to add the liquid to let everything simmer together and really come together. So I'm gonna grab the chicken broth. I love Swanson chicken broth. There's also Kirkland has a chicken stock that's really good when I go to Costco. But when it's just something in town, I just grab the Swanson chicken broth. It's just got such a nice flavor to it. You really can't go wrong. I'm gonna cover all these veggies up. It's gonna be really great. So I got all the liquid in there. I'm gonna turn the sound to low. Everything's gonna simmer together. So the next thing that I'm gonna add is going to be 1 sweet potato. So I went ahead and peeled my sweet potato, not perfectly, just roughly peeled the sweet potato and then chopped it, diced it into cubes. And then also 2 zucchini. So 2 zucchini diced. I'm gonna add those. And that's going to it's all covered in this liquid. That's going to get to just cook together. I'm gonna let this simmer for about, oh gosh. You can let it simmer as long as you want, but I'm gonna put the lid on this and let it simmer about a half an hour. We'll be back. So while the veggies are still simmering, I'm just gonna go ahead and cook up the chicken. So I'm just gonna throw a little olive oil in the pan, and I went ahead and cut up chicken. Just gonna throw that in the pan with it as well. I wanna say this was maybe, probably close to 2 pounds of chicken. This soup is what we will eat mostly for lunch and meals the entire week. For, if we're hungry and we're snacky, we'll grab the soup. Or if, lunch time comes, so just grinding some pepper into it. I'm gonna go ahead and get some salt. I actually have a small salt shaker. No biggie. Just throw some salt on there. And then I'm just gonna fry it up, and when it's done, we will go ahead and add it to the soup. Welcome back. Okay, so I finished the chicken, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add the chicken to the soup and let that simmer together. The rice is still cooking, so we're gonna put the chicken in there. And then I also went ahead and blended up the diced tomatoes and the beans. So we're gonna go ahead and add that to the soup mix and let that all simmer together until the rice is done. And then when the rice is done, we'll go ahead and add that. I did add the bay leaf in while we were paused with the bay leaves in there cooking, and I added about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And This is just going to simmer together. It smells so good. This is gonna simmer together until the rice is done. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause and we'll be back. So welcome back. So we're on our very last step of our soup making. We've gotten everything into the pot. It's been cooking. Our rice is finally done. So we're gonna go ahead and add our rice into our soup. And that'll be the last step. So we do have it in the rice cooker here. It's going to be quite warm, so I am going to move just the rice cooker over, and I'm going to get a big spoon, and I'm just going to spoon the rice into the soup. Okay, so I got the rice here all ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and spoon this. I'm actually going to move this pan over so it's going even closer together so I'm not spilling it. Just going to spoon this rice right into my minestrone soup. You can see I got quite the pot this week. And with the rice, it's going to be such a great treat to have this minestrone. And then I added chicken to it. Minestrone rice chicken soup. We had cream of chicken rice soup last week, and we loved it so much. I thought, I just would like a few more veggies. So I would go ahead and make this minestrone soup that I love. And then just add chicken and rice to it and leave it as the regular minestrone base. And I'm just going to let it cook down, probably on low for another, I don't know, maybe hour or so. Just let it all get mixed together in there. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to it, just to make it a little bit richer of a soup. Okay, that's all, friends. See you later.